This help video discusses the EAC, or the Economic Activity Composite section, or the U.S. Economy section inside the Trends tab of the matrix. I've highlighted it here, and it goes through this information box here as well as the comments that the computer generates right through here. And we're going to talk about each one of them. For a written explanation of the EAC, click on this link and it'll take you to the blog, and you can read through the computer or the description of the computer-generated economic activity composite. This number here is the leading EAC that is often cited within the economic activity reviews. There's a couple main components of it. This is the intermediate trend. This is the long-term trend. This is the trend that cites direction for up or down economic expansion or correction. That's the one we focus on the most. This is volatility. This is the bearish counts or the bullish counts for the economic expansion. This would be bearish, so an economic contraction. Inside the comments section, the computer defines the direction as bullish, so then that would be 2 and up. So if this changes over, this computer's explanation is going to change in terms of the direction. It also discusses volatility. It says it's relatively neutral, so there's nothing going on there. The time cycle is discussed here. It says that economic activity is not extended, so keep an eye on some of this stuff. When the wording changes, it usually says neutral or nothing, but when there's a change, it'll be highlighted yellow. The breakdown of the EAC, it gives us 2 charts. This is the long term. This is the chart with the intermediate trend. The intermediate trend often flips ahead of time, and we're going to see that in graphical form. Inside here, though, everything else is relatively the same. The computer talks about the breakdown of the components. These are some of the major components. There's others that are not discussed, but these are often referred to, and I put them inside the matrix for people to look at individually. This is the labor section. This is the explanation of the labor section here. It talks about its volatility and the time cycles. This is confidence, which is really important. We often talk about confidence all by itself. This confidence oscillator is here, talks about whether it's bullish or bearish, explanations of volatility and time. This is confidence relative to the price of gold. These are all things that contribute to the calculation of the EAC, but then themselves provide interesting relationships, which gives us an idea of where the overall economy lies. This is the budget oscillator, or the federal budget oscillator. This pertains to gold and other risk-on and inflationary assets and confidence. And here's commodities down here. Again, you can click all these links to generate charts in the cloud in order to see them. But we're going to take a quick look at some of those charts right now and see what they look like. Here's the main charts that you'll pull up. This is the EAC. It's above 0. When it's above 0, it's not highlighted. That's an economy that's into expansion. Right here, the computer will generate an explanation of what's going on. So this is all computer written. I don't type this stuff in, but essentially it's saying that we're in a bull phase just like before, and this defines an economic expansion. This other chart includes the intermediate oscillator, the ITCO, which is right here, and it provides us a different view. Again, that's back in the matrix. This is a chart that's the labor that's inside the matrix. When you click on that chart, you're going to see whether or not labor is either in a contraction state or an expansion state. When it's in red, it's in contraction or it's in a bull phase. It says bull phase is generally bearish for labor. So these explanations are generated by the computer. Here's the confidence oscillator. Here's the confidence relative to gold, confidence oscillator. Again, descriptions here. You can follow these red shaded regions. These are bear phases, and I've talked about them further into detail in their own separate reviews. This is the federal budget oscillator, which is there. Again, it shows, the computer's description here pretty much explains everything you need to know. And I think that's about it. There might be commodities. In the commodities, we've just slipped into a bull phase in commodity, but again, the discussions here and this explanation for what's inside the chart is inside the legend. For all of them are relatively similar. We're going to head back into the matrix. So this is the EAC, or this is the EAC section of the Trends tab. This all views is an important part of whether the economic activity is up or down. The EAC is a real-time indicator. It's based on data series that are not often revised, and very few of them put out by the government, because the government tends to put out economic data that's often revised and not very reliable. But this is pretty much market generated, solid data that doesn't get revised often, so it gives us a good idea of where the U.S. economy is heading, whether the U.S. economy remains, right now it's the world's core economy, but eventually, even if it is a periphery economy, it's still one of the world's largest economies. So the marginal direction of the U.S. economy often dictates the direction of other regional and global economies. So it's important to keep an eye on it for not only U.S. citizens, but also people that live outside the United States. So keep an eye on the directions of these trends. The explanations lie here. These talk about transitions that are coming. These talk about when time is extended. So the computer will generate all this stuff. I don't write any of this stuff. The computer takes care of that. If you have any questions about the U.S. economy section or the EAC or any of the subtitles here that we talked about, let me know. You can have some comments in the video, but this is pretty much directed towards a teaching of how to follow and use this section. Thanks for watching this video, and click more help files so that you can learn more about using the matrix and feel more confident in doing so.